Welcome everybody to the Upsurge Contenders League playoffs, round one, Risen Esports versus ONECHANCE. I am Mikey here, joined by Tame. Tame, what are we looking at? What are we looking to see in this draft?
See, the bans are already coming in hot and heavy. I was going to say Ivor and Cass already taken off the table. Two picks that have been really, really successful for Risen Esports so far. Risen going for those AP junglers, definitely some target bans there. ONECHANCE taking out the Ashe makes me wonder if they're planning on playing Aphelios, because that's sort of one of the classic counters right now.
Something that Oshawott has been playing quite a bit of in solo queue, but it looks like he's going to elect to go for the Ezreal instead, which is also a solid pick into that Aphelios, should Risen Esports elect to pick that up for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, they're really flexing the draft power here so far with both target bans and meta bans, and they're coming in pretty fast as well. It seems like Risen was just now put on the back foot. All the other bans were like bam, bam, bam. Now they're being a little pensive about the second round pick here.
Yeah, and I would expect them to pick up. Oh, okay. Galio could be flex to support, could be mid. It's an early pick that does well into things like Syndra. So if they're electing to go for something like that with this Ezreal, Galio would be a nice safe pick into that. So definitely a good blind that can also flex down into that bot lane. We'll see what they elect to do here. I'm thinking AD or jungle is what they're going to pick up here. Thinking, oh, there's a Zac. Ooh, okay. Okay, so Jim probably not going to invade too much on this Zac, though that's his trademarked kind of move. What are you thinking, Tame?
They're really stacked. Like with the Galio here, I like that because it can go sort of like support item, you know, standard support Galio. It can also go like a more tanky support Galio. And then you also have the option of mid burst or mid tank as well. Exactly. So, ooh, I mean,
wow,
Poppy's pretty good at stopping.
Counter.
I was going to say Poppy's pretty good at stopping both of those things. I'm not sure if you guys have ever seen this or not. It's actually quite wild. Poppy can just stop Zac like pretty much dead in the air.
Yep, mid-air. And he does not get any of the CC off, and he stops literally right before his E target would be. So if he's trying to combo, it gets a little testy. Poppy is a really, really solid pick here. And Azir picked up as well. So Azir getting thrown in the mid lane against potentially Galio.
Yeah, the way it stands, I'm actually looking to see the Galio go support, I think, if I had to guess.
Okay, just speculation.
Just based on what I've seen here. You know, Azir can really sort of harass Galio pretty well in lane, even with his mana issues early on. There's the AD, and I mean, Misfortune Galio, if you can land the
wombo
that's pretty
with the
disgusting.
Zac, the wombo with the Zac as well. It's they're definitely setting up a big team fighting comp here. We'll see who they elect to take out against ONECHANCE to kind of counteract what they're trying to set up, which is kind of a counter engage, it looks like.
Yeah, they're playing the we can either poke you or like anti-siege you kind of comp. So it's actually diametrically opposed to what Risen's going for here. I'd be really surprised if ONECHANCE lets the Wukong go through here for Barlow, who's been very, very good at it all season if we've been following them all these last 7 weeks. It'll just, I wouldn't leave it open judging on what we've seen, but again, it's usually been a flex pick between jungle and top. There goes Trundle, one of the best meta junglers in the game right now, choosing to take out the Kayle instead. So I'll be interested to see what Barlow plays here. He's been pretty safe splitting that Wukong with Jim so far. Also had a couple good games on Ornn throughout the season, so
interesting to see also whether they elect to put Barlow on the weak side or if they elect to play strong side with that Zac. As if you move into a 2v2 with this Poppy, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for them on the Wukong and Zac to get on Poppy and make anything happen on that side. And Wukong, you know, depending on what kind of jungler they pick here, Wukong could be in some trouble in a solo lane against that Poppy. So we'll see what they elect to do here as the TF is locked in as well. So a little bit more global pressure with the TF Galio, but that automatically means that Galio is going down into that bot lane with MF.
Yeah, that's kind of how I saw it coming throughout this. I believed it was going to be that way from the beginning, and it's just like, it is a great flex, and that's how Risen tends to draft, but they, in the end, opted to go with a really good combo. TF, as everybody knows here, can just ult with Destiny's Gate, and then Galio can just use Hero's Entrance right on top of him, provided that TF doesn't go too far.
Right.
It's a pretty disgusting wombo, especially if you have, Zach coming out of the shadows and the Shaco
Is that a
lock-in.
Shaco support that I'm seeing,
Oh,
team?
jeez. They went from, like, 200 IQ, like, nearing LCS level draft to just,
They
like...
locked in a Mumu and Shaco in round 1 of the UCL playoffs. Now, let
Yeah.
me tell you one thing. If UCL provides one thing for us, guys, it is spice. Gangplank locked in, so they are electing to go for that weak side top laner. And that is what they lock in. So I'm looking at these drafts, and it's certainly going to be spicy on one side. One side is very straightforward. They have one single identity, and that is run at them and team fight and wombo. The other side also has quite a bit of wombo with the Azir, Ezreal, and Amumu, but at the same time, so much counter engage with the Shaco boxes, with the Shaco clone, with the Poppy. It's going to be really interesting to see how these team fights play out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's definitely a lot of potential on both sides, like you said, for wombos. I think that a lot for One Chance relies on, Poppy smashing someone into the wall and then just pressing their go buttons. Or, if it's not going to be Poppy, it's going to be a Mumu. But a Mumu sort of works as, I think, better as like a secondary engage when people are already sort of balled up, which I think is why he's kind of fallen in prominence, because right now people are loving the sort of more like hard engage, like beatdown style. But I feel like Risen's draft definitely has a lot more ends to fights, but I feel like that One Chance's draft has kind of like, if they can get into the fight on their right situations, I think they have a lot more explosive potential, especially with like a late game Azir Ezreal. It's just so much damage,
Right.
especially with the Shaco who can just drop down the fear and enable that much damage. Definitely some spice from both sides.
The way that this game scales out is going to be very interesting, because we know Poppy develops into this super tank that nobody can kill. Gangplank turns into a barrel monster that one-shots carries. But your carries, each of them, have that security of having an escape, having a dash, having the ability to weave in and out of these team fights. So it's going to be really interesting to see how Galio and Zach elect to get onto these two carries, and if they're able to, with the Poppy shutting them completely off.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Poppy is only one person, though, so I feel like even the way that I'm saying it, we're going to give them a lot of pressure here. Like, I'm like, all their engage completely depends on Poppy. You're like, Poppy needs to stop both these people in the air at the same time. Next, we're going to be like, and as soon as Misfortune starts ulting, Poppy needs to just get in there and just smash Misfortune into the wall. And then we're going to be
Look, as much as I hate to put pressure on people, okay, this game is going to weigh heavily on Poppy. I mean, it's just a fact. The way that they drafted, the way that they constructed this team comp means that Poppy is the one thing that stops them from getting their wombo. So it's going to be... There's a lot of pressure on Wavesix up in that top lane, and we'll see how he does against Barlow's Gangplank, which, by the way, is no slouch.
Yeah, no, Barlow's been really good on pretty much anything that he's picked this whole season. One thing that's interesting about him as a player is that you mentioned like giving him the weak side top laner. He takes weak side picks almost every game, but he plays like strong side style.
Exactly.
So, as soon as he's, got the mana to keep going on Gangplank, he's just going to be throwing the Qs right into you over and over and over, really pressuring those lanes, looking for proactive ults early, shoving the wave so that he does get that 6 early to create advantages for his team. So it's kind of a play style that you don't see too often. Overall, super excited to get into this game. And just a recap here that Risen is entering this undefeated, 7-0, and One Chance is 6-1. So neither team is a slouch. I mean, they are both very, very strong, very dominant teams coming into this. So I'm expecting what they would call a slobber knocker.
We're expecting a very, very hard-fought series here in round 1 of the UCL playoffs. But with that, we're going to let you guys kind of relax, settle in. We got a few minutes for the spectator delay. We're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. Game 1 of UCL playoffs, round 1. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to a pause. we have a pause right out the gate, so a little more waiting. Sorry, guys. But this is game 1, round 1 of the Upsurge Contenders League playoffs. I am your caster, Mikey. I am here with Tame. Tame, what are we thinking? How are we thinking this early game is going to play out?
Not a hot prediction here, but I think fairly passively. It's like you had mentioned during draft, Jim's not really going to be looking to invade on the Zac. Amumu's clear is all right, but unless he absolutely has blue, his mana problems are pretty significant early game. It just, Azir needs to scale. Twisted Fate needs to get 6 to really do anything. MF, just kind of pokes in lane. Ezreal kind of pokes and dashes around poke in lane. I don't think we're going to see a kill before 5 minutes. That's going to be my hot take for this one. Looks like we are getting back into the action here as the summoners do hit the rift here.
Over under on the first kill. I got 5.5 minutes. What are you thinking? Over or under?
Over. Yeah, I'm thinking first blood's going to come around 7 or so. I think it's going to be pretty late.
Okay, and where do you think it goes?
30 seconds until minions.
Bot lane when Zac jumps in and lands on the Shaco who can't do anything.
Okay, well, you heard it here first, guys. First blood is going to be at 7 minutes in the bot lane on the Shaco. We got no faith in Monster Mash 69 right now. No faith. So I'm just going to say this now. I think first blood goes the opposite way, and it goes on to Keen, because Amumu hits a crazy Q while he's hitting his E. That's my spicy prediction of the day. But as we see,
what time's it happening?
Oh, I'm thinking right at 5 minutes.
Like on the dot,
On
to
the
the second.
dot. 5-0-0. Right there. That's it. All right, guys. So we had a classic 5-point here. Looks like both junglers are electing to start bot side. Zac leashless on the wolves, whereas Amumu's starting right on the red. So pretty standard here. Another interesting thing to note: MF got Cole. So MF not looking to get any early fights on the Ezreal, just electing to farm and wait it out. I think that's going to be a lot of this game, is farming and waiting it out.
Yeah, I mean, against the Ezreal, like what the lane's basically going to be, and the fact that if she steps up to make any proactive plays, she risks stepping on a box. I actually really like the call pickup here, especially, with MF, she's kind of, it's not that she's like a hyper scaling or hard scaling ADC, but it's that her kit doesn't really come online until she has her ult. She pokes, that's about it.
Oh, Keen going to get the taunt here. Not much. Kind of a bad trade for Keen there. He's still getting hit out by Oshawott. So trying to get a chunk out of the Shaco, but instead gets a chunk out of himself. As Oshawott looking for more, going to Arcane Shift forward, and he is going to get taunted by Keen. There's the heal. The Ignite getting dropped onto Keen. The auto attack with the flash.
Ooh.
First blood goes over to Oshawott.
Wow, the Ezreal just playing explosive there. Not what you expect to see. The level 1 Ezreal complete desolation and domination of the lane down there as they pick up that first blood way earlier than either of us had predicted.
Yeah,
So
looks like we're both wrong, but it was on the Galio, so I was half right.
yeah, I mean, you don't really say like, oh man, I'm going into this solo queue game, or even like I'm playing, in my UCL game. I really expect the level 1 Ezreal to first blood me.
Well, he was level 2.
Oh, okay,
give him some credit.
he hit in the middle of the way. Okay,
He arcane shifted in.
that's true. Yeah.
So we'll give him some credit there. But
Leveled
it
during
really,
the fight.
really well played by Oshawott there to kind of just chase down Keen, where Keen had no cooldowns, wasn't able to respond, and it was just an easy kill for him. It's interesting also to note that a lot of people don't understand that Ezreal with Conqueror is one of the strongest AD carries in the game. In the meantime, there is the Q. The bandage toss going to hit, and the flash going to come out from Baboom. And that is going to be a flashless mid laner. You can expect a Mumu to come right back for that guy.
Absolutely. I mean, Twisted Fate, if you can get out his flash before 6, is basically a sitting duck. I mean, he does have the Summoner's Spellbook, which he can use a little bit right now, but it's not going to bring back his flash. He might opt for a defensive summoner after a TP, but feels bad, honestly. Like,
big time.
I'm a Dirty Talon player, so if I see a Twisted Fate without flash, I'm just like, I'm salivating, man.
Yeah, you are drooling. You are absolutely drooling, especially as a jungler like a Mumu that can just hit you with one bandage toss, and that Azir with lethal tempo just wails on you and kills you. There's not a lot you can do about it.
Speaking of not a lot you can do about it, looking up at the top lane here, Barlow already has a 12 CS lead established. Kind of what you expect early out of the Gangplank, to be out of mana yet harassing and everything. I like the start with the mana crystal, the sapphire crystal up in the top lane, and he's just beating away on the Poppy.
Yeah, Wave 6 is straight up not having a good time, bro. It is not fun for him up there in the top lane right now. That CS deficit is just going to grow and grow as this game progresses, and that's going to end up being an issue, because when you have 2 weak side top laners, that's really the one discrepancy that's going to divide them in gold.
Yeah, it's like I had mentioned how Barlow likes to play the weak side picks, but play it in a strong side manner, and he's doing just that right now, playing with no fear, as it looks like both the top laners are going to reset here. Poppy kind of hanging out in the base, debating on whether to TP or not, deciding discretion is the better part of valor when it comes to summoner spells.
Very much so. Very much so. Okay, so bot lane hard pushing in here, Oshawott and Monster Mash. The Shaco support is doing some good poke down there. Kind of surprising how well that's doing. And there's a flash forward. Emperor's Divide comes across. The card comes in, going to stun up Faraz. Faraz is going to get out, but kind of a miscommunication it looked like there from the jungler and mid laner.
It looked so good. He got the shuffle back, like, and then it just felt like he's like, I'm not gonna hit him anymore. I don't have enough mana to finish this off. I don't know what to do. And then Mimi's like, I'm coming, hold on.
His solo queue, I'm question mark pinging that Azir. I gotta say, I don't know. If I'm the Amumu, I'm like, hey man, that was a little early. But
yeah, a little overexcited there. Azir does TP back to lane here, allowing Twisted Fate to get basically a free back with the wave crashing there. Twisted Fate not electing for anything else out of Summoner's Spellbook yet.
It's like you had a free lead with no flash from the mid laner. You elected to go for a flash play, which I like. I like that he elected to go for that aggressive play. I like that he went for it in the way that he did. Just a matter of execution and doing it just a little bit too early, getting a little bit excited. TF does have that ult now though, so he can maybe look for some shove and roam combos across the map here.
TF also started with the Merc Treads, so it's kind of interesting in that if he uses Destiny Gate to get in, he's not going to be doing a whole lot of damage, but he's going to be faster than almost everybody in the game right now, so he can get that yellow card out and follow up, which makes me think that TF's probably going to be looking bot lane just by his builds and just the ability to get on everybody as quickly as possible down there with that yellow card.
And it's something to note that pretty much anytime you have a TF in a losing matchup like this one, going for that Merc Treads first just makes it so that mid laner really has no kill pressure on you. And when Amumu even comes to stun, you're getting out of it sooner. Just like that, but there is the ultimate, and there is the death. Pyron trying to give it away, but not going to be able to. And that's going to be a kill going over to this Amumu.
So at this point, this is when
too soon,
Twisted...
I think.
I was going to say, at this point, this is when Twisted Fate usually just goes AFK if they're on my team. You know, Jug mid 3x no gank question mark AFK. Obviously, we're not going to see that in this game.
A summoner
But
has disconnected.
Look on the bright side. He's absorbing a ton of pressure for his team.
He definitely is.
He's basically kept the jungle occupied. He's eaten 2 ults. His flash will be back up here in just a few seconds, and he does have the ignite, which again makes me think that he's going to go bot lane with that Destiny's Gate after Ezreal and Shaco reset here. They're giving him the blue buff as well. They're really putting all their faith in Baboom. They're like, please, bro, stay in the game. Don't AFK.
Keep your mental, man. Keep your mental.
I give you blue. You stay bliss.
Yeah, that is, it's going to be interesting to see what he does with that Twisted Fate ultimate and where he goes. That is a huge trade going on a Monster Mash from Keen. And he's going to pull the wave anyway. And that's going to be a good freezing point for this Ezreal as they like to go for the reset.
Yeah, I mean, it does seem, again, like they're just trying to soften up the bot lane here. As Baboom has to go down eventually, right? Like, he's eventually going to...
He's got to.
He's got to go somewhere. He's got the button and he's Twisted Fate.
He's bound to go somewhere. Wave 6 taking a little bit of a biting off a little more than he could chew, having to use that steadfast presence to get away, but does get away.
Jim is hovering mid here. There's no vision there.
Pyro in, looking for Baboom. Going to get stunned up. He's going to stun him back. The ignite drops. Here comes Jim Cantori. Cantori going to slam him into the plant. And there goes Pyro. And in the meanwhile, there is the Emperor's Divide to say, get the hell out of here, Gangplank. And Faraz just gets out with his life. So one improved hero.
I mean, that really brings up a lot of vulnerability here in the mid. It looks like they're looking to exploit it right away here. I mean, without having that Emperor's Divide, because that's, you know, obviously you want to see the big Shurima shuffle. You want to see, you know, the Tokyo drift behind and throwing them backwards. But, I mean, it's a really good disengage, too. And I think it's kind of underrated is how good the disengage on his R is.
Right.
You can just throw away a whole team. Or
Monster Mash may be
objective.
caught out. Going to... Oh, my gosh. There's so much damage. There's the clone. He's trying to get the fear off. He gets the fear off. He gets the ignite and the... Oh, my gosh. There's so much happening. Wave 6 slams him into the wall. Here comes Barlow. Barlow going to get feared immediately from TP. So maybe not the best TP from Barlow there as nothing really happens.
We call that one the playoff anxiety. Everybody's like fighting for that early game advantage. I mean, these teams are only separated by 300 gold right now. Equal 1 kills, 1 dragon to 0 for Risen. But, I mean, everybody's vying for that control because, you know, as much as League of Legends is a mechanical game, it is also a mental game. And when your team's in the driver's seat, you're feeling good. You play better. It's a fact.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, I'm not really surprised to see them with a little bit of overeager sums here in the game 1.
Absolutely. And you have to think also, momentum is a huge thing in a series like this. And the first people, you know, as soon as you can grab that momentum, and the earlier you can grab it, the better. It's going to be really interesting to see how the rest of this game plays out. Because so far, it has been an absolute bloodbath. And it's only been 4 kills.
Yeah, 4 kills, but just trade. I think at this point, Barlow probably already has about 25,000 damage done to champions. I mean, Poppy is just, I don't know. There's things that can be said. Not that Poppy's doing horribly in the matchup.
Looking on to Jim Cantori here, going to hit the bandage toss, but he is going to get taken very low. Here comes the Azir, however. Jim Cantori going to flash out, gets the Rift Herald, and he's going to get stunned up. Meanwhile, Pyron drops to Barlow. Barlow still going in on the Faraz, gets stunned up by Baboom. There's the Emperor's Divide. He flashes away. Barlow still trying to chase this down. No, he is not going to chase it down. They are going to trade the Rift Herald for a kill.
So, I mean, yeah, Risen came out on top of that one there, getting...
Wait, they got the Rift Herald and the kill.
Yeah, I was going to say, Zach didn't die there. Yeah, he was... And now he's got like a full clear lead, a Herald. You know, he's up an entire level on the Amumu. He's got to be feeling really, really good right now as the second Drake's about to spawn. Plus, worth noting, we lost the flash on the Azir there and the Emperor's Divide, so he's not going to have either of those for the Drake, which is huge. I mean, with Faraz being so much of their damage along with the Ezreal, you know, there's no TPs coming out of the top lane due to both the top laners using it. I would almost say that this Dragon's just a given based on the macro state of the game for Risen Esports here.
Yeah, I would have to agree. There's not really a lot that they can do. You have the Gangplank ult coming back up, which is a huge objective pressure. And then you have no ultimate on this Azir, no flash on the Azir, no safety there. And they're going to summon the Rift mid, and it looks like they're going to elect to go for this Drake. Faraz just trying to clear.
Yeah, I mean, they're pulling off the Drake. They did start it, and it looks like they're not willing to play with this Herald, but...
There's the stun, and Pyroan trying to go in, but he's going to flash out. Jim Cantori may be caught out, gets the CC down. There's the double taunt from Keen, and Baboom picks up a kill for himself. Meanwhile, he has to flash over the Emperor's Divide. There comes the Galio's Hero's entrance. Is it going to be enough? No. Jim Cantori getting chased down by Oshawott. The ult comes through. True Shot Barrage going to hit onto him, and he's going to try and pick up this kill for himself while getting zoned off. Here comes Keen. Keen trying to get the damage onto Faraz. Has to flash out. Oshawott coming in. Nimbus Cloak not going to be enough to get him away as Oshawott picks up a double kill on this Ezreal, the most scaling champion in this game.
Yeah, I mean, really there, Keen had to be feeling like he was going for like the hero play. I see what he was going for, you know, save my jungler, save everybody on my team, but then just going for the hero play there at the end was a bit much, especially once his ult was already down, allowing them to get right back on even. And I mean, here we are, again, about separated about 500 gold, except now it's in the favor of one chance. And, you know, the Herald didn't even get a charge off there either, which is worth noting. So, I mean, we're in a pretty equal game state right now. Any kind of advantages or disadvantages are basically being erased. And we're at 15 minutes as we enter the mid-game. Like, this isn't just the 5-minute laning anymore. So if we look across and see, like, what everybody's building so far, items are starting to come online, except it feels a little rough for Bobby right now, who just has the bombies, and it's like they went to the garage sale, picked up a couple things. We're like, this cloth armor fits, but I want to wear layers.
I'm thrift shopping today.
Yeah, pretty much. But across the board, we are seeing, you know, the essential items, the Rod of Ages for the TF, the Essence Reaver, we see the Monamune, we're seeing the Nashor's Tooth. So the fights are online. A lot of these characters are going to be hitting a lot harder, and we're going to see some explosive fights coming up in the next couple minutes here.
To note, the one lead that Risen has that they can really bank on is this Gangplank. Gangplank up about 900 gold in this top lane. So definitely a big lead for him as of right now. Obviously Ezreal's up about 1k on the 80 carry. So these are leads that you really have to bank on, and you have to push through these players. You have to play through these players in order to get back into this game.
Well, it's hard not to play through an Ezreal. You know, he's pretty much always there, and he's always going to be hitting hard, and he's always going to be doing damage once he gets basically an item. And, you know, when he has Monamune Sheen, he's pretty much good to go.
Sheen looks like he's looking here, going to get the entrance, going to get the taunt. Baboom trying to pick up the kill. And meanwhile, Ezreal goes down to the MF ulti, and here comes Pyro, and the double kill going on to Danny Cupati, still chasing down Monster Mash's clone, just trying to smack him a little bit. And that's going to be a double kill for Danny Cupati. So back in the game is this MF as she evens up the gold spread.
Yeah, I mean, throughout this whole season that we've been following Risen's team here, that's what they've been known for, is just the immaculate team fights, the collapses and rotations, and it's really what's won them. It hasn't really been their laning, as we saw even in this game. It's definitely been their wombos and their team fights, which, you know, they're continuing to extend a lead here now, which is almost 3,000 gold. It just exploded out of nowhere after that last fight. So, you know, we're going to have maybe a shot at getting another Herald. Otherwise, we're in a pretty neutral state right now. So both teams are probably going to be looking for some vision control, especially around that Herald on the top side. Yeah, it's already being pinged, as we can see some vision going down.
Yeah, they're saying on the way. 45 seconds is coming.
And if there's a fight there, it's going to be very fast and very frenetic, because we're getting close to the time where Baron spawns. You can't really, you know, do a 30-second Herald dance, or you risk not killing it at this point in the game.
Yeah, you also have to note that this Ezreal's Mirror Mana is going to come within the next 5 or so minutes. He's sitting at about 620 mana collected so far, so that is coming soon. And it's sooner than I think people would expect. So maybe the next next 2-3 minutes are going to be a little testy for Risen Esports with that mirror mana coming up.
Absolutely. Someone had actually pointed out to me that a tower has yet to fall at 18 minutes. So both these teams are just in like lockstep with one another right now, respecting each other's push and rotation. It's very rare that you don't see a single tower down at 18
Especially
minutes.
with the rift taken as well.
Yeah.
There's been a rift taken, and there's still no towers. But Jim Cantori is on the rift right now. We'll see if they elect to contest this or if they elect to give it.
I mean, Pyroin did reset, which Risen was able to see. And it looks like they are just going to give it here. I was going to say, however, with Faraz there, they might have even be able to pull like a dirty rotation over. It looks like they're electing not to do that, though. So, I mean, I think
big chunk.
With how soft the towers are after plating, he could basically just like walk into a lane. Yeah, I was going to say walk into a lane and just throw it down. And it should almost guarantee to get a charge, especially with how Barlow's doing there. There it is.
Barlow
Didn't even
got
need the
first
Herald.
turret without the charge. So he's going to elect to try and get another charge out of this Rift Herald. I don't think Wavesix can kill it in time. Yeah, there's no way.
Yeah, I mean, he pushed it towards his tower. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, that's a definite feels bad.
Something is about to transpire in this bot lane. Both junglers are here.
This is a game in which things will definitely happen.
Dragon is spawning. Dragon has spawned. They are rotating. Both teams.
I mean, Wavesix has TP right now.
Down. There's the taunt. King may be caught out, but in comes Jim Cantori, and he's going to get a huge engage onto the back. Pyroin going to drop as well. There's 2 kills. Monster Mash not going to be able to do much on this Shaco. Faraz and Wavesix on the flip side. Are they going to elect to go for an engage here still? It looks like they are. Here comes Wavesix. Wavesix looking for somebody to pin into the wall. He knocks Keen into the team. Keen trying to get some damage out. Wavesix tanking so much. There's the Emperor's Divide, but is it going to be enough? No, it is not. for us. Trying to get the Shurima Shuffle out. He's not going to be able to. There's the stun. There's the taunt. And Jim Cantori going to grab another kill. Monster Mash falls. 4 kills to 0 for Risen Esports.
And the prize is going to be that Ocean Drake, which will keep him healthy, heal him right back up, keeping him feel nice and refreshed after winning that team fight very cleanly. I have to feel like I want to question there, like, after Oshawott fell, and even after they started losing all the health bars, they elected to just keep fighting. You were even saying, like, are they going to go for this engage? Are they going for it? Yes, they are. I don't really see the advantage when you have a champion like Galio that you're up against, and even Zach. You know, Galio can just zone you. He knows you're coming back. He has vision of you. He's going to taunt you. Yep. I mean, and then you look at the like the Twisted Fate busting out that yellow card. You know he has that zoning control with that yellow card. It's like a big red flag, except a yellow flag to get away from him, and Jim just jumps right back in too. It's like just a lot of questionable decision making there.
I'm not sure why they elected to go for that. It's like you said, it wasn't really.
It's not Soul Point or anything. It's just a Drake.
Right, and another interesting thing to note that our production just pointed out, Amumu is still building full AP.
Oh! Last time I looked at Amumu, he had a garage sale going on. I think we're also starting to see here the sort of latent effect of the Shaco support starting to fall off. Yep. I mean, you see there it's barely tickling the Galio, who has the MR from just the Mercury's treads right now.
Absolutely. Barlow and Wavesix just wailing on each other in this bot lane. Barlow getting the best of him, however. There's the engage from Cantori. Cantori going to hit him. Here comes the MF ulti, though. And Jim Cantori gets a kill on the Pyro, and they're still chasing this down. The yellow card is going to land, but that is the clone. The stun going to land on the Jim Cantori. He's too far away from his team, but they're going to come back anyway. There's the Q.
GP splitting.
Here comes the ultimate. It's going to get Jim Cantori out. Keen flash taunt, and that is a kill for Danny Cutebody. This game is an absolute bloodbath.
Keep an eye on the gangplank. Look at him. He's just splitting.
Here comes Cantori. There's a dead Faraz. Oh my goodness.
Basically uncontested in the bot lane. Barlow is just down there just putting in some work. Risen managed to win that fight without him as they... Yeah, I was going to say the gold leads up to about 7,000 gold, and the prize for that fight is going to be the Baron. Risen continuing their same style. I don't mean to call them like a one-dimensional team, but teams just keep getting destroyed by their immaculate team fights. And then it's like Immaculate team fight, get an objective. Immaculate team fight, get an objective. Turtle till the objective is up, immaculate team fight. It's a very noted pattern at this point, and it works for them. I mean, they're up 10 kills here. We got to pause.
It's good to identify a team's identity, right? When you're a player on a team, it's very good to identify, here's our strengths, here's our weaknesses. And it seems to me that Risen has very much identified their strengths and weaknesses. They know that they can team fight. They know that they can turtle and get these team fights around these objectives, and it just works.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, basically, if you're not Risen Esports and you're on the opposing team right now, when you see an objective on the map, you clench it or you bench it. That is your only option. You clench it or bench it, buddy. At this point, I think your best bet is to sort of run like a soft 1-3-1 to kind of get back into the game. Maybe look for a pick if Risen looks for one of those collapsing style team fights. You push an advantage in another lane. Even though Risen has a strong and dominant lead right now, if they can like last out this Baron, the game is not over. They still have options to get into this game. They're only down 2 towers. It's not like they have an inhib cracked or anything yet.
Right.
But how they play through this Baron is going to define their identity through the rest of this game.
And honestly, for the rest of this series, because we have to note that this is what Risen is going to do. This is what Risen has done every game throughout the regular season. And there's the reason why they're undefeated is because no team can hang with them. The thing is, we have a series here that is round 1 of the playoffs. And if you can't figure out, I have to do this, this, and this to stop their team fighting, you're going to get rolled.
Yeah, I mean, and on that same note, like you mentioned, with it being playoffs, and if you can't research them and you can't answer that and go in with a game plan that beats it, you don't deserve to advance. So let's see how they handle this Baron play here. I mean, like I said, they're definitely still in the game here. They have the Ezreal, they have the Azir, they definitely have the ability and characters and aptitude to get right back into this. However, I think their best bet for this Baron, especially since they're not on Soul Point, is to just kind of chillax. You know, hang back at your towers, clear some waves, scale up a little bit. Don't force anything, or I think the game's over.
Don't force anything, and don't allow yourself to be forced on, I really think is the MO here. Especially if you're an Azir or if you're an Ezreal. Because if you get missing, you're just done skis. It's just
Pyroan went for a little cheeky engage on the gangplank over there, missed and gave away his position. So Amumu doesn't have a lot of what I call like anti-siege or tower presence. He can, you know, use his little thrash as the wave crashes. But he really doesn't have
getting a huge trade on the wave fix. And Jim Cantori is melting Pyro, and he's going to flash back into the base. There's 3 ults burned for Risen, but they're going to take this bot lane tower. And here comes the taunt from Kayn, but not going to hit anybody. Danny Cutebody just trying to chunk down this inhibitor. There's the engage onto Monster Mash's clone, but is it going to be enough? No, it is not. As Danny Cutebody and everyone else just still trying to kite back, still trying to pressure this inhibitor as Gangplank just shoves in Wave 6 in this top lane, and TF is pressuring mid. Here comes the ultimate drop by Pyroan, going to stopwatch. TF going to come back into the ult, and there it is. Here comes Faraz on the Emperor's Divide, hits a 4-man Emperor's Divide, but is it not enough? A double kill going on to Danny Cutebody, and the rest of the team is scrambling, trying to find a way to stop this, but it is not going to happen. Monster Mash drops the Barlow on the other side. Oshawott Arcane shifting in, not going to be able to find any targets there. There is the True Shot Barrage to just try and say, leave us alone, please, as they are still shoving in this lane. They're still trying to get a 3rd inhibitor here, and this is a huge Baron power play, if I do say so myself.
That's one of the biggest Baron power plays I've ever seen, and it was exactly how I had mentioned there. They did exactly what I told them not to do, and how you mentioned not letting themselves get engaged on. I was trying to finish my thought about Amumu having almost no tower presence as a champion. And when I say tower presence, I mean the ability to resist a siege as it comes in without putting yourself at risk. Amumu has, like, none of that.
Especially when Amumu is full AP.
Yeah, I was going to say compared to, say, I know it was banned, but just as an example, like a Trundle who has the threat of the pillar, despite being like a melee ranged character or anything.
Right.
So, I mean, it looks like Risen's just going to continue to run away with this one as they now have about a 14,000 gold lead and an 8 tower lead. Trip Hibbs, I don't even
And
think
they're on
there's
soul
anything
point,
more needed. Yeah, I was going to say there's bounties on
Just
4
in
of their
case.
5 members.
just in case.
I say, honestly, this is it's going to sound bronzy of me, but just go back and buy and run it down mid. I think they can just slap
Here
them with
comes
their
the
wallets
TP.
like
Barlow
G2
trying
style.
to flip this back around. And Twisted Fate running at Mach 30 at
Oh
the
my
enemy
God,
team.
what?
There's the stun on the Wave 6. Wave 6 is trying to get out. He's going to have to flash. Barlow going to pick up the kill onto Pyro and still chasing down the enemy team. Keen going to drop his ultimate in, and they are just trying to end this game as fast as possible. Here comes the TF. The TF going to go onto this Ezreal. He's stunned up, going to have to flash out. Faraz trying to get out, going to stream a shuffle, and here comes, oh my god, what an engage by Jim Cantori there as Faraz is going to drop the Danny Q body, and this is going to be game 1 of the Upsurge Contenders League playoffs, round 1. Game 1 goes to Risen Esports.
Yeah, really well played there. You see Faraz dropping the GG before the Nexus even breaks. So obviously Risen just sending a statement game home here. Looked really close throughout the early to mid game, and then all of a sudden, as is their style, just exploding and destroying this game. Congratulations to them on taking game 1. One choice, you have a great chance to get back in here in game 2, come back with a little bit more of a cohesive draft, and you guys can get right back into this one.
Very true. And if we take a look at these graphs, right, you have the Ezreal and the Azir, and the rest of the team just kind of bails in comparison. I mean, you look at the Poppy in comparison to that Gangplank. I mean, Gangplank was just trading into Poppy for the entirety of that laning phase, and Barlow able to come up huge on this Gangplank and really performed well.
That's what I was joking around the 15-minute mark, saying that he probably already had 25,000 damage done to champions. Obviously not that much, but I mean the bars don't lie here. It is pretty telling how much damage the Gangplank was putting out. That poor Poppy never had a chance to really shine. I understand it as a counterpick to what they saw, but the reason you don't see a whole lot of Poppy in pro play is because of things like that. There's just so much that Poppy doesn't go into well. Like you saw the Kale get banned away. You know, that's obviously, you know, like really, really bad for Poppy to play into the Kale, because as soon as Kale hits 6, Poppy can't do anything.
Right.
But you're not thinking about, you know, like the Gangplanks. You're not thinking about the Jaces, the other ranged top laners, the Kennons that can really just like out-trade you and keep you from being relevant and keep you from getting those counters. So I think if they do a little bit more research going into game 2, draft a little better. They're obviously very skilled. Oshawott looked great in that early game. I think we're going to have a game on our hands.
I think so too, but only time will tell. Stay tuned, guys. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, game 2 of Upsurge Contenders League playoffs, Risen Esports versus ONECHANCE. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everybody, to Game 2 of this Upsurge Contenders League playoffs. I am your caster, Mikey, joined by Tame. Tame, we saw a lot of things in that Game 1. We saw Risen Esports really run away with the late game. What are we expecting to see out of ONECHANCE for Game 2?
Well, I wouldn't have guessed the exact same bans. That's one thing that I could have told you there. I don't know if you get destroyed in Game 1 and then just go for the salty run back of draft in Game 2. So we're going to have to see how this shakes out. They might have a different strategy or synergy for themselves. Really not expecting to see a Shaco support, expecting to see something more traditional here as we get into the second game. The Shaco just wasn't really doing it for him. It did fall off out of lane, just like we had predicted.
They're going to get the Zac again, and that Zac was a huge issue for Game 1. So they're going to elect to first pick that for Jim Cantori, and they're going to run back the Ezreal bot lane, but with a Maokai this time.
Yeah, I mean, Maokai fulfills that same role as Poppy. His little, knockback, the big wooden smack thing he does, the name eludes me right now, actually does the same thing to
Bramble
Zac.
Smash.
Bramble Smash, there you go. That does the exact same thing to Zac and Galio, knocks him right out of the air. So it has the same basic effect as the Poppy charge, except it's point and click, so it's actually much easier to land. You can actually just sit there and just kind of smack it as Zac flies over you. We actually saw Risen do that to a team a couple weeks ago.
They are running back the exact same first 3 picks Risen Esports is.
That's exactly what they did when we cast them last time in Week 5. They went up 1-0, and then they did the same thing. They actually ran back 4 of the 5 same champions and swapped the jungle champion for the top laner, and they won 2-0. So that's what I was saying. I don't know if ONECHANCE just doing the salty run back here is a good call for them or a good look. But, I mean, I do like the Trundle a lot more than the Amumu. We're not sure if Maokai is going to be support or top yet. Obviously, we're not going to see the Shaco again. Looking at Monster Mash's U.GG right now, they play a lot of Bard, which I would actually like to see. They play a lot of Yuumi, which if I see, I will be leaving the cast. And they actually do play a lot of Maokai. So from what I can see based on the U.GGs right now, we're going to be seeing probably a Maokai support.
Yeah, and Maokai's another one of those champions that's just a really solid flex. It does well in the support role, it does well in top, and it's a decent blind top lane as well, because there's not a lot of things that really counter Maokai apart from a Kled. So we'll see what they elect to do with it, but the TF going to be taken off the board on Risen's side, so we're not getting the full run back from them. And the Azir going to get banned out on ONECHANCE's side, so a little swap there.
Yeah, we're not seeing the same mid matchup no matter what, as both of them are banned out. Interested to see what. Yeah, I'm actually really excited to see what their last ban is here. Who are they going to target out? The LeBlanc. So they're just going for the full mid lane, which, with the flexibility of the Maokai is probably a good decision. Because, if you ban out too many of his other picks, then they just send it top instead of support, or vice versa. So I think it's actually a pretty safe bet to take out some strong mid lane picks. LeBlanc, as far as I'm concerned, there's the Bard.
Ooh.
As far as I know, I don't think LeBlanc has been buffed or nerfed this season. Not even a single patch note, right? I'm pretty sure. So, I mean, it's just such a staple and stable mid laner that we've just seen it for so long now. So getting it off the table is not a bad call. Definitely. I really, really like the Bard with the Ezreal. The slow from Bard really allows Ezreal to just continually poke with that Q. It's a lane I wouldn't want to be playing into, especially with the synergy that they did have in Game 1. As Risen does pick up the set there.
They're playing my main champion.
Set's your main champion?
And he sure is.
My goodness, man.
I'm a top support player, and I main Set and Blitzcrank.
I don't know, man. Hopefully not Blitzcrank top.
Oh yeah.
No. Oh
yeah.
That's the thing that makes people go AFK.
Oh no, not in my games. Not in my games.
You see that instant lock first pick, Blitzcrank top. They're like, I go top, lock in. and then you see this Blitzcrank locked in with Flash Ignite, and you're like, no.
I don't actually play Blitzcrank top. I just play I play it support, but Victor gonna get locked in as well. So still a very strong wombo on Risen's side, electing for another team fight composition. We'll see what ONECHANCE elects to put in this mid lane. It's going to be the Corki. So two very strong team fight compositions coming out for both of these teams. And ONECHANCE really kind of running back similarly the same kind of comp with a little bit more power in their picks.
Yeah, I mean, they obviously have found their identity as well, which seems to be play through Oshawott. However, I think an itemless Trundle is more valuable to the team than probably a full AP Amumu from that last game. And I don't mean to come off too harsh, but I also mean to come off too harsh. If Amumu doesn't get Giga fed when he's full AP, and I think there's always the chance to pivot your build as well. Like, you know, you built the Runic Echoes and you're like, this isn't going so well. I might just want to go tank for my team. But, I mean, we're going to see the Trundle come out this time, so he's going to get another chance, Pyro, in to really shine on this pick, and I would love to see him do a lot better this game. You know, sometimes you get so far behind you feel like you can't do anything, so you just it just compounds itself.
I think the Trundle pick is going to be a lot better for this early game pressure that he's going to be able to put on the Zac. Because Trundle's one of those champions where you can really go on any side of the map and turn a skirmish around. It doesn't matter where you are, because Trundle, his early game against these tanks and against a lot of these other champions that they have, stealing their AD, you know, getting the auto reset on his Q, it's going to be really hard for them to deal with this Trundle in the early game. He may run rampant.
Yeah, I mean, Trundle has been dialed back a little bit recently with receiving a couple of nerfs here and there, but honestly, just being a big, fast, wacky, chompy troll just makes him so strong. And, you know, Zac does take a little bit of time to come online. If you can somehow get a jungle invade and get get Zac's passive out, you're looking really good. Honestly, I feel like you're looking really good early in the game if they can do that. So that would require some synergy from their mid laner coming over. You know, maybe the Bard roams or something. Bard is notorious for having great roams. And the way that Oshawott played last game, you know, 3-0 by 12 minutes, I think that he was dominant enough that the Bard really could be enabled if that's the style they want to play.
To see how they elect to play around this Victor, because I feel like Victor's going to be really what swings these early skirmishes, because he has the prio with his E. He's able to shove out Corki, and he's really one of the only champions that's able to do that in the early game. So we'll see what happens, but if you're looking at just these drafts, Tame, just looking at drafts alone, players aside, skilled points aside, just the champions, who are you giving the edge to?
I actually kind of like ONECHANCE this time, just because the crazy synergy of like timing stuff like a Corki package with a Bard ult, or, you know, a Bard ult followed up by the Maokai ult while the Ezreal sits there and free fires. I think Risen has to be a little bit more careful in this game than they had to be in the last game, because ONECHANCE, instead of coming back with like a mishmash of champions, they're coming back with their own sort of more of a defensive style wombo this game.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see how this game plays out, especially in the early and mid game. But we are going to take a quick break for the spectator delay. But don't go anywhere, as we're going to bring you Game 2 of this Upsurge Contenders League playoffs. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everybody, to Game 2 of this Upsurge Contenders League Round 1, Risen Esports versus ONECHANCE. I am your caster, Mikey, joined by my best friend in the whole world, Tame. Tame, we talked a little bit about this draft going in. We talked a little bit about who you're giving the edge to, but let's talk a little bit about how you think this early game is going to play out and where you think the needle's going to side to.
Bot lane, very similar. Oshawott kind of won that one early, but now he has a Bard supporting him, which I think is just basically better in every aspect in that role. So, I think bot lane's going to go over to ONECHANCE again. Top lane, it's just kind of a noodle fight. Maokai procs his passive, heals half his health. Barlow sits there and walks back 5 feet and gets a free Warmog's passive on the character. Top lane's not going to be that exciting. Let's just be real here. Top lane's just going to be a noodle. Jungle, very exciting. The crux of the game here. We're really getting into it. You mentioned that about the Trundle shutting down the Zac. I think if you don't, I predict that they lose the game. I think, yes, it is that important.
Yeah, I would completely agree with that.
And you need to get that Zac passive out. You need to have him playing scared. You need to get that first Drake, because Risen's Wombo is basically the same as it was last game, except now they have, instead of the rotation from the TF, they have just the pure power of the Victor. And with how good their rotations were and how clean they were, and Victor running TP phase rush, it's actually sort of similar to that same style of Twisted Fate, where he's looking to, get in on the flank and just bust into those team fights with the Chaos Storm and everything, just get in there and bam. But yeah, game, sorry for the ramble, game hitches on the jungle here.
Game definitely hitches on the jungle. It's going to be really interesting to see how this Trundle plays this early game, because really the defining characteristic of how this game is going to go is where Trundle is. If Trundle is not in the right spots with this Zac, if Trundle's not taking the right skirmishes, it's going to be a very tough game for ONECHANCE, because there's just so much engage on the side of Risen Esports.
Yeah, and the fact that Keen has played a lot of Galio this split and has really had that great zoning with his W. I know, not sure if you noticed last game, but a lot of his taunts, the Idol of Duran, he wasn't even going to actually land the taunt. He was just using it as a zoning tool. My carries are standing back here, you don't touch them, or else, you take a burst of damage and you're stuck attacking me for half an hour to 45 minutes.
It's a rough estimate.
Yeah.
So we got some traditional starts here. We don't have the Cole on the MF this time, electing to go for the Dorans instead. So pretty much everybody's standard across the board, which is the first time I've seen that in UCL in a long time.
Yeah, I don't think Danny Cute Body here really wants to seed lane like they did last time. I think they saw the Shaco support and we're like, we can kind of seed the lane here and win the game, but against the Bard, you really can't afford to do something as, cocky as that call.
Trades going on in the top lane. Zac is there, going to try to engage on Wave 6. Wave 6 has to flash out, and Barlow can get a decent freeze going here in the top lane as well. Here comes Pyro in, going to drop the pillar onto Danny Cute Body. The flash forward, here comes the Bard, not going to hit, and that is going to be that. So the heal and flash from Danny Cute Body traded for the flash of Bard.
There at the end, Danny Cute Body stepping in, landing a quick little double up there. Just kind of cheeky. He's like, I'm going to do 40 damage, but look, they're going for the repeat. It's going to happen. Here it comes. You don't fall for the repeat, gang. Not at this elo. You don't fall for it.
Not the wraparound.
You don't fall for this, bro. Okay, he is backing off. As they did, I assume he knew that they had the ward there. There's almost no way it wouldn't be.
Here comes Pyron in the mid lane, and he's going to try and go into Baboom. Baboom slowed, is going to have to flash out. So 2 flashes burned already from Pyron on this Trundle, already looking more impactful than he did on that Amumu.
Yeah, he's like, hey, look, you have a flash? That's mine now. Oh, you also have a flash?
Kantori.
Also mine now. Oh, that was a long stretch. That was quite an arm coming out of the Zac there.
Quite the arm indeed.
I thought it was going to break off.
Still frozen. Still a wet noodle fight, and he's going to have to break the freeze here.
What happens if Zac's arm gets ripped off? Does he just grow a new one?
I
you
would
think-
assume so.
You think he just grows a new one? Yeah.
I think
I
he's
mean-
made of the same material as what's that movie, The Blob?
Yeah. Or did you ever see Flubber with like Robin Williams?
Oh
It was a good movie. Yeah, I think he's
what
like
he is.
Flubber.
He's like Flubber.
But at the same time, do you think he'd be sad about it? He'd be like, "Oh man, that was my
not
arm,
another
but I guess I'll get a
arm.
new one."
Not
Yeah.
another arm,
Wait, he's
man.
just standing up. Pyroin is just standing there menacingly. He's like, and then I went bot lane and I stood there, but it was menacing. Monster
It was
Mash is
menacing,
beginning his
and it
road.
made them think twice about what they were doing. But it looks like he's going to elect to go for this red steal. He's going to smite it away. Jim Cantori electing for the engage, but is not going to keep following that up, as Pyroin looking big on this Trundle so far.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a difference maker jungler here when you go in and you take a power pick like that. And I had mentioned in draft that Trundle had been nerfed a couple of times, but just the nature of his kit just makes him good.
Yeah,
Like,
especially when you add phase
throughout
rush into
multiple seasons. Yeah, and oh my goodness, look at this wave that Barlow is looking to crash. That is chonky.
it. That's a chunky
like-
wave indeed.
That's a chonky wave. And he's crashing
Pyroin
it into
going to
wave
hit
6
the
when wave
pillar
6 has
onto
ultimate mana.
Baboom. Baboom has to get the phase rush. Does indeed, and able to get out.
You mean
this
all
game-
this all these
all
ganks
this-
and everything though have almost been like much ado about nothing as the gold is dead even. So you know the sums are down, but now you need to make use of the sums being down. This is when you need to get proactive and you need to capitalize on those kills. So I'd look for the Trundle to hit bot again here soon. That rotation that he's had has actually been really good. His pathing, where he's like going bot to mid, has actually been working really well for them here. As you see Risen just kind of chilling out under their tower.
And not much happening on the other side of the map here as we got 2 resets coming in at top lane, and none of them burn their TPs. Maokai did have to burn his flash, so maybe a gank will come up there. Here comes Pyron, however. Here comes the pillar, but the Chaos Storm going to zone Faraz off. He has to Valkyrie away. Pyron still trying to chase this down, going to flash forward, but is going to get stunned up by the Jim Cantori, and there's going to be a kill going on to Faraz. First blood. Here comes Set. Set has so much movement speed. Let's see if he elects to flash onto anybody. He's going to get slowed out by Monster Mash. He's going to come forward, but the stun from Monster Mash is going to keep him off as well. Pyron able to pick up a kill for his Corki there.
Yeah, really well played. I mean, he's just continuing that rotation, that circular pathing, and just kind of making his presence known. And I think he's actually taking advantage of the fact that top is a wet noodle fight, as we do see the call with 97 stacks be picked up by Barlow. So, I mean, he's like, at this point, I feel like he's just acknowledged the noodling of the top lane.
Yeah, he's like, I don't really want to fight this guy. He's got Bramble now. I'm just chilling, man. I don't want to deal with that. They're all just hanging out up there. They're not really doing much. It's oh Christmas tree, I don't want to kill thee. You know what I mean? It's that type of deal up there. So
Yeah.
we'll see what they elect to do, as Pyroin is finally on the top side of the map after about 5 minutes spent on the bottom side.
I mean, I think the top laners at this point could actually just like start up like a golf course up there or something, and use Maokai as the flagpole for the hole, and Set could just punch the golf balls.
Interesting to note, though, Barlow does have a pretty significant CS lead for the 2nd game in a row in that top lane. So that's going to be an interesting tidbit of information, as Jim Cantori has hit level 6 on this Zac before Pyron has hit level 6 on his Trundle. We'll see if
Yeah, I mean, with all the ganking. Oh, I was
Oshawott
going to say, is he going for it?
Come forward, but here comes Keen going to try and get the
Oh!
taunt. Oshawott having to flash out, so maybe a little overzealous with that arcane shift forward.
Yeah, definitely was there. I mean, the flash on the Ezreal isn't a huge deal to burn. Just makes them a little bit less safe, but I think one of the things here to credit, Wavesix isn't necessarily that Barlow's like super hard out playing him. You'll see it here, like watch Wavesix mana. It's almost gone just from that one trade with Barlow, as Risen is not going to contest his first Drake. Yeah, I mean, Pyron's rotations have been great, and now they're getting up.
Faraz has the package. Is he going to drop it? He is. On to Jim Cantori, who's trying to burn down the
Oh, he
Quick
got stuck.
He's not going to be able to. They're going to try and finish up this Rift, but here comes the Maokai. Oh my goodness,
disaster.
that damage. And here comes Barlow, not able to get the ultimate off. They're going to kill the Zac as well, and Pyroin is going to pick up this Rift Herald for his team and a double kill. In the meantime, Baboom getting chased down through Chaos Storm, and that is disaster for Risen Esports.
Bro, it's just a Herald. Just let it go. Just let the Herald go, have Zac jump out, defend the tower. I know it's not easy in the heat of the moment, but definitely committing way too hard onto that Herald there for what basically equates to a minor play here. Still only a 1,000 gold lead, but you're going to start seeing, that ocean effect stack up for them, and you're going to probably see them extend that gold lead when they inevitably pop out the plates here soon.
Yeah, I mean, when you have Rift Herald and you have, laners that are winning, such as this mid lane and this bot lane, you can really throw the Rift Herald anywhere and be pretty successful with it. So we'll see what they elect to do. That Rift Herald is on Pyroin, so he may elect to get a pick and then throw it down, or he may elect to just throw it down. We'll see what he does. But back to farming. Farm Simulator 2020 is restarting, as both junglers are picking up their respective buffs. It looks like blue buff is going to go over to Faraz in the mid lane. But like we said, shutting down this Zac was a huge thing for this Trundle, and he's done a pretty good job of doing so far.
Yeah, and I'd like to just sort of, shift the narrative for a quick second. The red vision that they have over in the blue side top jungle over there is also really good. Like, their vision game this game has been a lot better as we take it over.
Pyroin going to drop the pillar, but not much else is going to transpire here as they elect to just run away. So more farming, more trading, more coal stacking.
Ugh. Someone just asked me why Bard is so thick.
Well,
I'm not sure why Bard is so thick.
more trading time.
Just watching this, it's like,
it's really, they're
are
not
they
doing
even
anything
playing
to each
League of Legends, or are they just like pretending they are?
It is, we'll see.
Oh, Pyroin again. He was spotted, but man, the rotations coming out of ONECHANCE this time are just so good. They're so fluid around the map, and even up in the top lane, Barlow has to start thinking that he might get rotated on here based on everybody dipping from vision and how strong the vision has been out of ONECHANCE. Take a look at that bot side river for ONECHANCE. I see 2, 4, 6, 7, 8 wards just in the bot river side. 9. We're up to 9 now. Goodness.
Pyroin going to throw the pillar down onto Keen. Keen trying to get the taunt out, is going to hit it onto this Corki, but he's going to Valkyrie out. Meanwhile, here comes the Zac. There's the ultimate going to drop, and oh my god, Pyroin trying to get to anyone is not going to be able to. Zac able to pick up the shutdown onto Pyroin. In the meantime, the Galio is going to fall as well onto Faraz. So Faraz now with 2 kills on this Corki, looking like a big beefy boy.
Yeah, I mean, Corki's not expected to get ahead early, but when he does, it can get nasty very quickly. One of the highest DPS outputs potential in the game. And he has, the tier and most of a Triforce build up right now. The magical boots coming online as well. So you're right, Corki has to be feeling pretty good as well. Rocking out about 7.5, almost 8 CS a minute as well. We're going to have a small man. Probably really poor analogy there. But we're going to have a very strong man in plane.
He's going to have a very strong rocket plane.
Yeah,
man.
There's really no good puns for Corki. Maybe I should just put a Corki in it.
Oh god.
Ass, didn't I? Oh god, here we go.
Here comes the pillar. Barlow says, oh no, the haymaker comes out, but is not going to be enough. Pyroin picks up another kill for himself. And, well, I guess that's the way things go when you're up there alone in the top lane. Maokai said, please come, team. He's hitting me.
I mean, as Double Lift put it, we're starting to see a bit of a diff in the GIF.
A little bit of a diffski in the jifski this game.
And it's like they're just Risen is being out rotated in every single lane and every aspect. Jim can just quickly, hop right out of there. Wave 6 is pretty low and low on mana, so if Risen wants to fight, I think they can take a fight. I think if Risen wants to get back in this game too, it's really hitching on Danny Cute Body coming online, which he will be looking here with that bullet time.
Oh, here Bard ulti and the package going to drop. They're trying to pick up Barlow before this fight starts. He's going to flash out, but Pyro and wailing on him. The True Shot Barrage going to hit as well. He's still alive, but is finally going to fall to Pyro's ultimate. Pyro, in the meantime, going to get sucked back in. Jim Cantori picks up a kill. They are still fighting this out. King looking for the taunt, not able to find it, going to come forward, trying to get on the Wave 6, and there's the Death Ray going to finish off Wave 6 for this. Oh my god.
M7 flash coming confidently and triumphantly out of Victor. Hey, does this look like some deja what? Some deja who? Some deja vu?
A little bit.
Except they didn't recommit, so they didn't get completely destroyed here.
They might be looking to cheese in this bush, though.
Danny Cute Body did pick up 2 assists in that fight there, so he is starting to be online. And now we're talking about Diff and the GIF and kind of like memeing and joking about it, but look who has a bounty on them right now. It's not Pyro.
It's not.
And Jim Cantor now has a half clear on him as well. He has a one-side clear advantage.
So, look, man, we may have spoken too soon. The Diffski...
15 minutes into the game, maybe, just maybe.
The Diffski may not be in the Jifski. So we gotta figure it out.
Oh, he stole it! The diff is in the GIF.
The Diffski in the Jifski! Here comes Pyro trying to do anything. He's going to fall. Jim Cantori able to pick up another kill for himself. And that... He's just saying, man, I heard what you guys said about me. I heard what you said. And he's coming out strong now. He said, oh man.
I mean, he's not really, he's just rocking, like basically a Cinder Hulk and Kindle gem right now. So the amount of kills that he's managed to snag 3 is pretty impressive actually. He might actually have the cast on in the background, just got really mad. Just like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. He might just, be chilling and, oh, he's going to interrupt the Valkyrie, and here comes the ultimate as well. Going to get sucked in. The Haymaker going to finish off that Corki. Finally a kill. Barlow able to secure one, and he's feeling pretty good now, feeling pretty confident. He's got a 30 CS lead. He's finally picked up a kill on this set, but might get chased down here. Nope, doesn't look like they're going to.
No, the threat of Keen being close there when they actually saw Keen there basically stopped them from following up on that engage. I think this is actually a big part of what had Risen win the first game is just Keen's presence and like how he's just fearless there, like just going in for that taunt.
Pyroin going to drop the pillar onto him, however. Here comes the Bard ultimate, not going to hit anybody. Keen still trying to find an engage, not going to happen. He's going to drop the Faraz. Meanwhile, here comes the Maokai going to hit onto, a double Bramble Smash going to knock them back into the team, but is it going to be enough? No, he's still getting CC'd, he's still healing up. Is he going to fall to this Chaos Storm? It does not seem like he will. Oshawott able to get some damage out and kind of zone them off. The Rift Herald is going to fall as well. That's going to get picked up by Pyroin. So another, oh man, this game is really back and forth. Oshawott going to Arcane Shift forward. Here comes the pillar. Here comes the engage from Jim.
Oh.
Jim able to get the double knockup, and he's going to chase down Pyroin. Pyroin able to get out, though, however, with his Nimbus Cloak on the flash. We look at this. It is literally just trading. One side gets kills. The other side gets kills. One side gets an objective. The other side gets an objective. And this game is only 1K apart, and we are 18 minutes in.
Jim Cantori, our beloved weatherman, he foresaw the forecast, opened up his eyes and said, I predict death, and brought it with that double knockup as he does go on the rampage. Nice.
And we got a 1.5K gold lead now, because we got a little bit of gold in that mid lane. But we were saying a Diffski in the Jifski. It doesn't look like there's much of a Diffski anymore.
No, absolutely not. That's what I said. He might have gotten a little bit salty.
He might have been. Look, all I'm saying is there's 2 shutdowns on the board right now. One of them is in the jungle, and the other one just got eliminated for no reason.
That's true. Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
But flip the narrative for a second. Corki, 3-1-3, 161 CS at 19 minutes. Those are some big numbers. He's got the completed
1.4K
Triforce. He's got the completed Monamune. That is a... I don't have good puns for Corki. I'm sorry. I just don't. There's nothing funny to say. He's very strong.
He's the Rocket Man.
Now I gotta have that song stuck in my head.
And
Darn
I
it.
think it's gonna be a long, long time. What do you think, Tame? You think it's gonna be a long, long
No.
time before he scales into this game, or you think it's already
No,
happening?
I mean, he's a 2-item Corki. He's online. It's not going to be a long, long time. Oh, here we go.
Here comes a little bit more of an engage, but not much. It's gonna be a little bit of a trade, as the Guardian is a little bit of a shield for him.
That's a lot of damage, though, with the Drake coming up. That allows Risen to really get vision control of the area, which they quickly have done, dropping down, 3 or 4 wards in a quick, tight succession. We see Faraz now matching Barlow in the top lane. That's probably better for them, considering that Wavesix was kind of getting destroyed up there, almost a 40 CS difference when he left the lane. I mean, Faraz is up there now scaling, still getting solo XP, getting farm. Looks like he is going to reset here. They're definitely going to be contesting the Dragon. This is probably going to get bloody, so I hope you have your play-by-play pipes prepared.
My pipes are indeed prepared. Jim Cantori trying to throw some damage. The subjugation is going to come out, and there is Keen once again trying to zone them off, but not going to be able to. Here comes Barlow, however, on the TP. He's going to be looking for an ultimate, but is not going to find anybody. The Haymaker comes across. The MF gets interrupted by the Bard, and they are still chasing this out. Here comes the ultimate finally on the Wavesix. Barlow just trying to pick up anybody, but he cannot. Oshawott flashes forward. Faraz flashes forward. Here's a triple kill for Oshawott as they look to turn onto this Drake.
Woof! I mean, Risen absolutely getting routed there. I think it all started with, if we want to break that down a little bit, I feel like the ultimate came out early from Jim Cantori. Not sure if you agree with me there. I think that he popped that a little bit preemptively. And then on top of the preemptive popping, we had Keen trying to pop off.
They're going for Baron.
I mean, more power to them if they can. It's gonna be, it's going down quick. This Corki is large.
He almost has the fully stacked
They know.
Mirror Mana. There it is. He's got the Mirror Mana. If they try to turn this fight, Corki is going to be doing some serious
4K.
damage. Wavesix is so low. Jim Cantori trying to do anything. Here comes the Galio ultimate. It's not going to be enough as Jim Cantori's still in his passive. They're trying to kill him. He's going to fall. The Baron is going to drop. Keen is trying to do anything in the pit. He's going to fall to Faraz. Meanwhile, Danny Cutebody is going to flash forward, and that is going to be that. Baron falls in a 3-for-2 trade going. So 2 Barons are going to survive. Pyroan and Monster Mash are going to try to use this Baron power play, as now they are up 2k gold.
Not ideal, but I mean, they did get the Baron. It looks like Risen, I think they'll be able to get this Drake before they get, oh yeah. Danny Cutebody's really online now with both the Essence Reaver and the BF Sword.
Here comes
they're TPing. They want this.
Pyroan. He's going to trap Barlow. What a pillar that was. Subjugation is going to come out as well.
He doesn't have flash.
He is not very tanky. Bramble Smash is going to hit. Here comes the ultimate. He's just trying to throw out some damage, but he's not going to be able to do anything. Wavesix just eating every punch, and that's another kill going over to Pyroan.
I mean, at this point, we're seeing Barlow die 5 times. Not something we're used to. At least not being, 1, 5, and 4 as we get into this game. We're usually, if he's died 5 times, he's like 10, 5, and 10 or something. So, I mean, definitely not online as you would think he would be. He did go for the Blade of the Ruined King to tank bust, which makes sense. I mean, you see both the Maokai and the Trundle. But he hasn't had the positioning or really the opportunity to tank bust, as we are going to start seeing some destruction of the towers coming through here.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to start pushing here as 5. And there's not a lot that Risen can really do about it. Unless Zach has some kind of godlike engage, they're just going to look to siege here.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the plan, especially with the Ezreal and the Corki just throwing out missiles and the Bard threatening if you step up, you're basically going to get slowed or stunned. So we're going to keep continually seeing the poke here.
Pyroan throws out that pillar. No, he's just, it looks like he's just zoning him off. And here comes the Bard ultimate. Not going to hit anybody, though. Monster Mash trying to find something, but they're going to keep going on this push. Baboom trying to throw out as much damage. There's the double stun. Here comes Jim Cantori. Jim Cantori on the engage. Here comes the MF. The bullet time is shredding the team apart. Baboom coming forward. He's trying to get anybody. He's got the Chaos Storm. It's going to be doing a bunch of damage. Danny Cutebody able to pick up a double kill. The taunt trying to find a target. Barlow 1v1ing Oshawott, going to drop the ultimate, but Oshawott able to chunk him out. Huge damage coming out from him, as that is a 3-for-2 trade going in favor of Risen Esports.
I think it's safe to say at this point that Danny Cutebody is a good player.
I think it's safe to say that, yeah.
I think it's safe to say that at this point in the season that Danny's pretty solid. So let's break that one down a little bit. I think towards the end of that fight there, we saw overconfidence coming out from Barlow there. And we're also seeing the power of a 2-item Ezreal who also has a Caulfield's Warhammer, which gives him even further increased CDR on top of the Ionian Boots of Lucidity. You know, on top of the Trinity Force. So he's able, you know, like every second that he lands a Q, just able to throw more Qs in, weave in those autos. We have Set with the Bork, and he did not have the completed Black Cleaver at the time. He's, as you mentioned earlier, not very tanky. You said you were Set main. Would you have gone with this build in this game, or would you have just sort of seeded that you're not going to kill the Maokai as Set?
Saw that Maokai was going Bramble. I probably would have elected for the Cleaver for sure. Knowing that I'm not going to be splitting much and that this is going to be a really bloodbathy, team fighty kind of game, I probably would have elected to go tank on top of that instead of the Blade of the Ruin King.
I agree with you, but I wanted to have somebody that was actually good at the champion say it, because sometimes we say things that are wrong and then we get called out and we feel really bad because it's the internet. But yeah, I mean, I actually completely agree with you there. So you don't think that like Triforce Set or anything, Triforce into tank wouldn't have been the play either in this one?
No, I think Cleaver is the right call. I just don't think Bork is good in this game.
I think that your target as Set isn't going to be the Maokai or the Trundle.
Anytime you have a team fight based composition and you're playing Set, you want to go for more HP. Because you're going to get dove on and you're going to have to be looking for big haymakers to kind of turn fights around. And when you have no HP out of Blade of the Ruin King, you're not really getting that. It's a split item, you know what I mean? So when you're team fighting, it's not optimal to go Blade of the Ruin King.
But let's break this game down a little bit. We have a 3k gold advantage for ONECHANCE.
Correct.
We have a 1 Drake advantage for Risen. Towers 1 for ONECHANCE. So honestly, you break this down, you look at it, the Baron has fallen off. This is pretty much anybody's game. Obviously, a kill difference, which makes up that gold spread. Ezreal now completing the Death's Dance, which was nerfed in the most recent patch. So his scaling isn't as overpowered and overbearing as it once was. Still very strong. Coming online. 6 kills. Definitely needs to be a priority target. We need Jim to land one of those great jumps like he was last game if they want to win this next team fight.
Absolutely. Here comes the Bartle. Not going to find anybody, though. Keen and Wave6 duking it out here in the top lane. And looks like they're going to... The dragon is going to be taken in the meantime. So we got another Infernal dropping. So 2 Infernals off the board. Here comes Wave6 though, trying to get the engage. Barlow may be caught out, has to flash out, but there's the God engage, but nobody's there to follow it up. There's the package, and he's going to Valkyrie right back out. Pyro going to drop subjugation onto Barlow, but that's going to be that. And they're going to elect to try and get this Baron, it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a feels bad for Set right there. Did you see? It's like he gets in, gets caught out a little bit like you said, but he just melts. Like, before he can do anything, he basically contributed flashing out to that fight.
Yep.
Let's show the class your project. And he just walks in and his knees are shaking and he's just like, flash! As we do, Baron starts to go down
Here's
very
the engage
quickly.
on the Monster Mash. There's the pillar going to be dropped by Pyro, and Danny Cutebody looking for an ult. Here comes the bullet time. Shredding out Wave6. Jim Cantori going to drop his ult as well. In the meantime, Oshawott trying to get this damage out. Here comes the Galio ultimate. Galio trying to get a stun onto anybody, trying to zone them off. Not going to find a target. This Corki just dishing out so much damage. Here comes Oshawott going forward. Barlow trying to get the ultimate down. but is not going to find anybody. A quadra kill going over to Oshawott on this Ezreal as they elect to push down mid.
Still Ezreal. I mean, that's the state of the game right now. Don't even know. I was going to say if they even need the Baron here, you can just go in and get basically the free inhibitor, if not more, unless Jim can pull off some kind of hero play. Are they going to send Pyron over to start the Baron? Is he tanky enough? He appears to be tanky enough to do that, yeah. So he's just going to prepare it for them, keep it nice and warm as they take down this inhibitor.
Warm.
Yeah, I mean, they're just keeping the seat warm so they can go in there and hang out in a nice prepared pit. You know, he's got vision, he's got a place to hang out, and they're focused on Monster Mash right now.
Yeah, and looks like this is going to be a Baron for basically free. Doesn't look like it will go down. They're not going to get there in time. Is Pyron going to peel off of it? Yeah, and that's going to be a Baron going over to ONECHANCE as this gold lead just keeps growing and growing.
Yeah, I mean, you're starting at this point thinking about what do you give up? Like, do you just give up the inhib and try to defend the Nexus turrets? Because with the power that they have right now, and like we had mentioned several times, Set not really having effect in the team fights, there's no way that Risen doesn't lose something here. It's just that what do they lose and can they stay in the game after losing it is what we're looking for. I mean,
Yeah,
they have vision
it's really...
on their inhib too. If you look at that, they see Danny Cute Body coming out of his own base. They see Keen preparing, so they have a massive visual advantage from the information they're getting from that. It's just hanging out there. It's just hanging out. They're getting so much info out of Risen at this point.
But is this game, let me ask you this. Is this or is this not just one team fight away from turning completely around?
It is, absolutely. I mean, say you get let's say you get a clean ace here or something. You're looking at a 20 to 16 stat line. You're looking at being able to get your own counter inhib here. You're looking at picking up a Drake.
There's
you're
the
absolutely
Bard
right.
going to hit onto Jim
survive.
Cantori. This Corki rocket damage is just so oppressive. That Manamune build is just ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, 3.5 item Corki. It's a thing. Welcome to League of Legends at 31 minutes, as they are going to go ahead and take down 2 inhibitors. Risen choosing to go for what you said there, and I think they're just banking for that Hail Mary team fight. You know, supers give a lot of gold. They're going to scale you up. So they're going for that, you know, let's not just give up the whole game on this Hail Mary. Let's try to stay in it. I wouldn't really expect Risen to make a big play for the next Drake, considering that it's not Soul Point either.
Right. And this is going to be the tale of, they're really just going to try and get these towers. They're going to try and triple inhib them. And it's just going to be whether Risen can turtle long enough to get a god team fight and turn this game around. That's really the story right now. That's what their comp is built around. That's what their comp is trying to do. So let's see if they elect to do it.
Yeah, I mean,
they can do it.
The Baron is not going to be on for much longer here, so you see sort of more of like a desperate siege. Oof, nasty chunk on the Baboom there. This is the time where they may be more apt to making mistakes. I don't think they trip him here with this Baron. I think Risen may be able to hold on to their 3rd inhibitor, and I think at this point I would say that they really need to hold on to that 3rd inhibitor.
Yeah, I would agree, and it's something that they're gonna have to fight around, because I feel like if they let that 3rd inhibitor go, it's really the game.
They just sent Corki for the solo
Here
Drake.
it comes, and here comes the engage. Pyron going to get taken low, but the ultimate from Bard going to hit on the Danny Cute Body, and here comes the engage. Oshawott is godlike. Oshawott just doing so much damage, picking up another double kill, and it looks like that is going to be game 2. Risen Esports dropping a game. They are now 1 game away from going undefeated in playoffs, or undefeated in regular season, and dropping in the first round of playoffs. Guys, this is now a series.
Yeah, that's a definite feels bad for Risen there as we do head into the 3rd game. I think takeaways from that game is that we're definitely not going to be seeing Barlow on set again. I am really thinking a 1st round ban of Ezreal coming out of Risen as well. You feel like you almost have to see it at this point, right? You mean Oshawott
you
was
got
3-0 in lane in the first game. Now Oshawott is 12-2 in this game. He's proven that he's a very dominant Ezreal. And you know what? He flexed using separate skins too. So, I mean, when you flex using separate skins, you're obviously a very dominant player. He went from Battle Academia to SSG in that second game. Taking a look here at some stats, I mean, obviously 35,000 damage coming out of that Ezreal. Second place was Victor. And you got to remember, Victor gets a lot of that AoE for free, the Chaos Storm, the Death Ray. So, I mean, Ezreal doing that much more than everybody else in the game is a very telling story. I think ONECHANCE did exactly what I said they needed to do. Shore it up. Get a better draft in this game. They did it. And I think Risen needs to not do a run back in the next draft. So we're going to see what happens next game as we go to Game 3.
Yeah, and like you said, we are going to be moving into Game 3 in just a few minutes here. Guys, this is now a series. Risen may have to be going home after going completely undefeated in the regular season. Guys, don't go anywhere. Game 3 coming at you in just a few. Welcome back, everybody, to Game 3 of this Upsurge Contenders League Playoffs, Round 1, Risen Esports versus ONECHANCE. I am your caster, Mikey. Joined with me is my buddy and good friend, Tame. Tame, we saw what happened in these first two games. The exact same bans coming out for this game. What do you expect to see out of these drafts?
Well, Risen let the Karma open, which I don't think is that bad of a thing. I don't think Karma's in as good of a spot as she was, say, like a year ago in Season 9. They did take out the Ezreal, which I think needed to be done after the way we've seen Oshawott play on it. But what's interesting to me is how quickly ONECHANCE locked in that Karma. I mean, there was no hesitation. Yeah, there was no hesitation at all. I mean, it was like before I could even react to the slot being open, it was Karma.
Yeah, it was very instant. The run back, the trundle, but on the opposite side this time.
Yeah, I mean, it's been one of Jim's most successful junglers between Wukong and Trundle. This split that's made up almost all of his games. Danny, being allowed to play the MF again. Player has almost 1 million mastery on Miss Fortune, so Danny obviously knows what he's doing. Miss Fortune pick definitely wasn't a problem in Risen's loss, I don't believe. So I don't think it's a bad pickup for them, and it's kind of a generic sort of lane bully, so not a bad idea.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Aphelios coming out, so the first instance of the 200 years coming out in this series. Maokai going to get locked in as well, so a little different here. We got a little difference.
So one thing that's interesting to me, I may be ignorant or missing something here, but as I look across the UGGs of both Wavesix and Faraz, I don't see any Karma in their most played champions. As I check it for Monster Mash, not really there either. So are we either going to see a Karma ADC coming out of Oshawott or a Karma jungle, or is it just something that they've been really good in the leagues with, but not necessarily really good in solo queue with? We haven't seen it in the series since it's been instantly banned in both games. So we're going to have to wait it out here. And I don't hate the Galio ban coming out of ONECHANCE. And the Risen is, I feel like they're taking the best parts of their comp from Game 1 and Game 2 here and kind of combining them.
Yeah, which I think is a really good call by them. The TF was very, very good in Game 1 and really drove the tempo of that game. So I expect them to run the same kind of trundle that we saw last game, where he's kind of just circling bot and mid. I expect to see that again, but obviously on the flip side.
Yeah, they're really targeting Keen's pull out here, but Keen also plays a lot of Karma, which has now been taken away from him. Keen's most played is actually Sona. Don't think we're going to see that here. Would eat my microphone if we saw Sona. If Keen locks Sona, I will attempt to eat my microphone. I don't think I'm going to succeed. It's made out of metal. It's got some poofy floofies on it, but I'll try it.
I have faith that you could do it.
I mean, I shouldn't have said that though, because Keen actually has a Sona display picture on the league client and everything. I'm starting to feel a little bit worried.
You're starting to sweat a little bit, Tame.
I'm starting to sweat a little bit. If I had to guess, I'm thinking we're going to see Keen probably on the Alistair in this game, because otherwise his Maokai is already gone too. He plays a lot of that. Leona the Gallios. It's either Sona or Alistair. Oh no.
You think it's one of the two?
Oh,
There's
the Bard pickup again. I really liked his Bard last game. He's very good at zoning.
That's Karma mid.
Yeah, it has to be. You're right. I'm not sure how to feel about Kayn pick in the jungle. I'm not sure if you've seen the recent pickup of Blue Kayn with a Tiamat, since his little up tweak has just been able to basically one rotation.
No way!
Uh-oh. Well,
you better get your chops ready, buddy.
Wow.
Get those chompers ready.
I'm gonna have to. Wow. Well, I hope microphone tastes good. Has anyone ever tried to eat a Blue Yeti before? Please DM me on Discord. I need to know how quickly I'm going to die. Oh no!
Let me say this. I used to sing into a Blue Yeti, and I used to have to kind of what they call eat the microphone. So I've done that, and that was not unpleasant. So you got that going for you. But good luck. I wish you the best when you're trying to eat your Blue Yeti.
So we thinking here BBQ sauce or mustard?
I'd say you go Dijon. That's where I'm going.
Dijon just right on the pop filter.
Yeah, just right
Just
there. You know?
Smear it right on that bad boy. Oh God.
I've never seen a bigger Monka W than when they hovered Sona and then locked it. I'll tell you that for a fact.
I have never seen him play it, but they always leave like his Galio open. They always leave like his Leona open. It's just not something I expected, and I'm happy to see it because it is his one trick, and Keen is a Grandmaster tier player, and not only is the dude in Grandmaster, UGD lists him as being Grandmaster with a 60% win rate almost. So I mean, the dude is solid
and a fantastic player. And I think, this is the first time I've seen his Sona. And I am more than ready to not only see his Sona, not only see you eat your microphone, but to see these wombos come out with Sona MF, because that is the classic combo. You remember back in seasons 3, 4, and 5, Sona MF was the lane.
It really was, but I mean, I feel like we need to discuss this caveat then. Do you remember Sona's old alt? It had a bit of a cast time to it, but it was like 3 times as wide as it is now.
Yeah.
That thing took up half the screen.
But now it's like instant, so it's better in that aspect. But there was a cast time, and yes, it was pretty much the entirety of the lane, and that was why the combo was so good. But we'll see how they elect to play it here. I'm excited to see Oshawott Aphelios because he has performed incredibly well on this Ezreal, and he has been spamming Aphelios in solo duo. So we're gonna see a practiced up champion from Oshawott, where we see the practiced up MF on the flip side. This is gonna be a duel of the bot lanes, I think.
Yeah, absolutely right. I mean, we mentioned before, Danny Cutebody has almost 1 million mastery on Misfortune. Keen is a Grandmaster tier player who is somewhat of a Sona one trick. But Oshawott has been completely dominant in this series, and Monster Bash's Bard looked so good.
Yep.
So I agree with you. It's really going to come down to the bot lane this time. I don't think we're going to have to worry as much about the diff and the GIF. But yeah, I can't wait to get into Game 3. Remember, this is the knockout. Whichever team loses here is going home.
Let me ask you this before we jump into our break for spectator delay. Who are you giving the edge to on this draft?
I have to say Risen, and I honestly think it just ties back to Keen's Sona, because I think that if he's confident enough to play it in a get knocked out or get all the glory scenario, I think that's them saying that they're ready. Plus, Barlow was so good on the Gangplank in the first. This is like a dream draft for them. This is everything that they wanted, and all they really gave up was the Karma, which I don't think, Karma scales well and has some good poke, but I don't think she's like a completely game-dominant takeover champion.
Yeah, and we're going to have to see what happens and what transpires in this Game 3, but we're going to take a short break for the spectator delay. So, guys, don't go anywhere. Game 3 of this Upsurge Contenders League playoffs coming at you in just a minute. Don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back, everybody, to Game 3 of this Upsurge Contenders League. Round 1 of the playoffs, Risen Esports versus ONECHANCE. I am your caster, Mikey, and alongside me is my good friend, Tame. Tame, we have another pause to start out this game, so let me ask you a question here. Do you think that Jim Cantori does what we saw Pyroan do last game and just rotate bot and mid, or do you think he likes to go top?
From what I've seen personally casting Jim Cantori's Trundle, he doesn't look to do either of those things so much as rely on his lanes to play safe while he goes and takes some camps and invades. Each time I've seen him play Trundle, he's almost always gotten the double scuttle. I think in the early game when you have the threat of the, Sona with her decent sustain, decent poke, and Danny Cute Body with great poke, I think you can trust bot lane to just kind of chill. The interesting thing for me is it's not a matchup I've studied very much, but say Jim goes in and invades and catches Pyro in the jungle. Who wins the Kayn versus Trundle 1v1? Is it a skill matchup based on Kayn's skill shots? Does Trundle just stat check him? It's going to be interesting to learn here. We also see the Kayn with the Dark Harvest, proving he really wants to go to lanes, which might just open up the jungle for Jim.
And another thing to note, when you take Dark Harvest on Kayn, you have flexibility to go either route. You can go either the Shadow Assassin, or you can go Darken and get Ross. So it's really a smart rune choice to elect to go for that, because the domination tree is just so good on Kayn.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't think it's a bad call whatsoever. The only thing I would say is that I think it's a little bit telling. I think when you see Kayn grabbing the Dark Harvest, and pushing that form, that he's going to be in lanes early, which I think Jim is going to read, because I know he's an excellent player and a smart person, and I was not paid to say any of this. But I know that he's going to read into that and look for probably the invade.
Yeah, and that's going to be very telling of how this game progresses, is whether these invades are going to be successful, because like we said, something that we've seen and that we know is going to happen this game is it's going to be bot side dependent. And knowing that, it has to be jungle dependent as well, because the only thing that's going to swing this bot lane in one side's favor is going to be this jungle pressure. So we'll see what happens, but we got both junglers electing to do a full. So we got buff to buff from Trundle, buff Gromp, and then we got full bot side clear from Kayn now backing. Interesting pathing.
And this is when he does leave that gap, that little vulnerability, but we do see Jim coming down here. Is he going to go for the early gank? It looks like he is. Just making him known. Just trolling the lane a little bit.
I like to call that a prank. A pressure gank.
Yeah.
What a prank.
Just letting him know that
bro.
you may go for the repeat gank. I like it, as we are going to see a pause here, which is being attributed to Asha. Nope, not Asha. Danny Cute Body lagging. Sometimes I guess you just need to take a step back and just polish up your cute body a little bit.
Direct cam did not show us, but Oshawott flashed away from the Trundle.
Yeah,
So
I was going to say,
has no flash.
The game thought that it was more interesting to just kind of hang out wherever it was going rather than actually seeing that flash down there, which, I mean, we're working on it. It's come a long way in the last couple of years. I mean, honestly, though, as we unpause here, you think about this, and everybody that's here watching, I really appreciate it, because a couple of years ago, we couldn't even do this. There was no, working public spectator client until, season 6, I think?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't even a thing. So they've really opened that up. So it's a work in progress, but still brings a great joy to many people, including myself. So let's get back to the action.
Baboom and Faraz are going for some pretty aggressive trades in the mid lane. Here comes Jim Cantori, however, going to drop the pillar. Here comes the gold card. The flash is going to come out from Faraz. They don't have vision of the enemy jungler, so they're just going to back up there. And more Barlow in this top lane, just wailing on Wavesix with the parlays. And,
I really like there how Jim backed off the second the flash was out. He didn't hesitate at all. He just immediately went down and he's grabbing that scuttle. I'm talking the second Faraz looked like they were going to flash, he knew the gank was basically over, seeded it, and continued on his pathing. Looks like we're going to split scuttles here. However, the bottom scuttle is often considered more valuable with that early vision when you can set up for Drake and, protect your bot lane a little bit ways from ganks.
Absolutely. Barlow is putting a lot of pressure top lane like he did the first time he played Gangplank in this series. Once again, pretty much out of mana, but still able to harass non-stop, as Gangplank does.
Yeah, I mean, just the point-and-click aspect of his kit makes him so strong in lane. It's like, Gangplank's a very dynamic champion. He plays in two very different ways. Early game, he's basically a Q-bot. Late game, he turns into a zoning, magician. And I don't mean as in mage class. I mean, the tricks that he can pull off are magician-like. It's very cool with his ult and his barrels.
Yeah, Gangplank is one of those champions that has two distinct play styles. And I think even in lane, two distinct play styles. You have one side where you're just looking for short trades. The other side, you're looking for these passive trades where you're trying to get that true damage passive out. And instead of trading with the... Oh, my cat's on my desk. Instead of trading with just the parlay, you're trying to get these long extended trades with the true damage. So it's kind of just two different things. But interesting to note is the reason that you have that parlay aspect of Gangplank is because when you take Grasp, you're just constantly proccing it with parlay, over and over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. He's currently... Gangplank is currently sitting on... Oh, TP back in the lane there. Game won't let me know how much health. Almost 1,000 health already at this point in the game.
With not a single health item, by the way.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm trying to hit you with some cool stats, and the game's just like, no. No.
I will not allow you to see. Oh, Wavesix trying to go untargetable for the barrels there, but to no avail.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely going to keep getting poked down and down. So the question becomes, out of your top lane scaling, is who becomes more useful later? I would argue the Gangplank, because his ult is one of the best tools in the entire game for zoning, whereas Maokai is sort of hit or miss with his ult. Oh, here we go again. No flash this time.
Trying to go after
and
him.
Runs away.
Yeah, not going to find anything. Monster Mash is here. Here comes the root on the Baboon, but the... Oh! Killer. Stopping him there, and the stun going to drop on a Monster Mash. They're still trying to trade out some damage, but that was an insane pillar from Jim Cantori to save his mid laner.
That pillar actually made me make the smonk face. Like the Discord emoji. As soon as I saw that pillar, I think I actually bordered on smank. I went past smonk and went to smank. It's like at this point, this is when Risen needs to invest in caster cams. Oh, Barlow taking some damage.
Wavesix.
Barlow?
Wavesix said, "This is my lane, sir."
Dang. He's really taking a beating.
Oh, man. So interesting to note that Jim Cantori is about a full level down on XP right now from these repeated mid ganks.
Yeah, but I mean, he also, I'd say it's almost worth it because he did save Twisted Fate there as well on Baboon. So, I mean, and Kane is somewhat of a power farmer. It doesn't look like he's going to go for the blue Tiamat build. Something you see more in low elo since he got the reduced cooldown on his dark, was it the Twisted Slash or whatever? So what he was doing was basically going in, knocking you up, doing his little spinny slash, Tiamatting you, and then doing the spinny slash again. So it was like a one-shot combo that's very popular. More trades in the top lane here.
Woo! Wavesix is now basically out of mana from that.
Yeah, and that's where Barlow continues to win, and that's how he was winning lane last time, even on the set. Maokai does have a lot of mana problems early, especially when he goes into things like the Vommy Cinder. Oh,
Keen.
They're really going for it.
He gets turned out. Here comes the ultimate from Oshawott. Going to find Keen. Keen trying to get out. Not going to be able to. First Blood goes over to Monster Mash. Here comes the turret. Here comes the Bard ultimate to stall this out. Oshawott not going to live with his life. He is going to fall as well. Live with his life. That was a good expression. Danny Cutebody able to pick up a kill for himself as well, as Sums on both sides go out. We have Oshawott with the heal and flash coming out, as well as the heal from Danny Cutebody and the flash exhaust from Keen.
Yeah, I mean, good trades there from both teams, as we're only about 500 gold apart. This series has been dead even. Both these teams have been playing incredibly well in different ways. As we take a look across the map here, we do see, though, however, some strong vision coming out of One Chance here, as it looks like they might pick up this Drake uncontested. I don't think Jim's going to... No, he's not going to make it there in time. He's going to be soaking that wave in the mid lane. Pyroman, though, getting really...
Yeah, that's really spooky.
I'm like, I don't know. I know Kane's edgy, but I was about ready to sing some "Cut My Life into Pieces." It's like, Kane, you okay down there, buddy?
That was a little spooky dragon there. Little spooky. Here comes the TF. Going to get the stun onto Oshawott. No flash available for him as the bullet time comes through, and that is going to be a kill as Faraz TP's in as well.
Faraz.
Here comes the stun onto Baboom.
Oh, Faraz.
King gets the ultimate down, but he is going to fall to Pyroon, and here comes that Dark Harvest that we talked about. There's the ultimate. He's going to fall, and there is a triple kill for Pyroan on this Kane.
Immediately getting shut down, though, too, right after.
Immediately.
But, I mean, they're really banking. Well played there out of Pyroan. But they're really banking on this Kane's early game. You know, the blue Kane is notorious for kind of falling off. Is Jim going to chase? No, I think he had at least a chance to chase there. Probably wouldn't have caught up to a Karma. But back to what we were saying there, Kane really falls off when he goes blue. That's why he's going Dark Harvest. He wants to stay relevant. He wants to get those stacks. And, you know, so far, we're already seeing 3 stacks, which isn't bad at all at 10 minutes. Since Kane got changed and buffed a couple patches ago, his blue form is more relevant. But still, with Keen on Risen and Pyroan on One Chance, you have like a tale of 2 different scalings. You know, Gangplank also scales really well. So I think that Risen sort of has the edge in the late game, aside from the Aphelios, who, you know, we've already mentioned it, 200 years. It's to the point where even the official LCS and LEC casters now are making 200 years memes. When Aphelios is like 10-0 in an LCS game.
It is the Scouting Grounds meme. I will say that for the record.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think at this point, like, we have a free license to use it.
There is a drinking game for how often we say 200 years when we're doing Scouting Grounds.
Oh, Faraz. Ooh, that got a little... Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there, but I was given a bit of a heart attack as Faraz was getting extremely low.
Alright, so what do we got here? We got the Gangplank ultimate going to come out to try and stop Wave 6 from pushing this tower, but he is going to grab a plate for himself. And we got a 1k gold lead over on the side of One Chance. So, pretty well going so far for a scaling comp, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, both teams are keeping it close. Really surprised, though, to see Keen getting caught out as much as he has with like the positioning on Sona. You know, does have the 2 assists, but when someone's that good at Sona, I guess maybe I expected some kind of tricks I've never seen before. But, you know, we do know that Sona is sort of one of those hyper-scaling late-game supports.
Here comes Pyro and
right around the edge.
Damage coming out. Here comes the Dark Harvest proc, and that is going to be a dead Keen. Bullet time coming out, but Pyron going to go around, dropping so much damage. Here comes the ultimate. The Moonlight Vigil not going to land, as there is another kill going over him. This time, finally gets one on Faraz.
Yeah, I mean, the 2-for-1 there, it was like as soon as I had mentioned Keen being caught out, Keen gets caught out again. So I think basically they're just playing for the late game on the Sona at this point. You know, Sona's one of the best scaling characters in the game. Like, doesn't even matter that she's support. I mean, like, in terms of everybody.
Yeah.
I'm sure you remember the days of the chaos of the unmitigated Sonateric lanes. Those were ugly times.
Are you stuck?
What is happening right now? I am seeing Wavesix and his face be all weird. Yeah. And Barlow running his... Oh, there we go.
We're back.
We're back. We're back. Just go ahead and blame production for that one. Good going, guys, as we see TF.
Here comes the TF.
And or does he?
More lag. Yeah, there we go. Here comes Oshawott.
200 years of spectating.
He's trying to do anything here. They're going to try and give this to Keen, I think. Or Danny. Yeah, they're giving it to Danny. I was like, who are they giving this skill to?
I mean, it's good to read the map there, but I'm like, that always gives me anxiety, the gifted kills.
Yeah, tell
like,
me about it.
It always makes me just, I've had actual game, they going again?
Monster Mash is
Oh my
dead.
god! Oh my god!
Jim Cantor.
Disgusting!
The keen ulti. You like that one? Was that good?
Yeah. That was pretty keen of you, but I can't use the same pun twice. Oh, Faraz is so aggressive on this Karma. You love to see it on what's traditionally considered like a support.
Yeah, absolutely. And Wavesix is actually getting some really favorable trades here in the top lane on the Maokai against this GP. Interesting to note, we got 12 stacks left on that coal for GP. So he'll finally, once he sells that, he'll probably have enough for Triforce. Right now he's sitting on 16, so he actually already has enough to buy it. So yeah, pretty good. Once he resets and we go after this dragon, we're gonna see what happens. But Cannon Barrage is available.
Yeah, I was gonna say he becomes a team fight monster after he gets that Triforce with the barrels. I expect this to. I was gonna say I don't want to see it go uncontested, but I don't know if Risen's gonna go for a follow-up fight here or just give it. The rotations may have been the rotations may have been a little off for them there. You know, ONECHANCE seizing on the opportunity, noticing where Risen was with their vision, and just saying, "Hey, free Drake."
Yeah, here comes the Rift as well, going into the bot lane. I don't know if that was a, oh, this is about to expire, let me drop it, or if that was a intended strat, but it looks like they're going to try and push this lane down with Oshawott.
Yeah, I think that one may have been a panic, Herald. I think it's going to get a charge, though. Here
comes a chunk.
Yeah, it's good. Oh, jeez.
200 years is here! But it is not going to be enough as the stopwatch comes out. Pyroan going to pick up this kill for himself. And that is another one. The heal having to come out from Oshawott, otherwise he would have died from that tower. And here comes the collapse from Risen Esports. Is it going to be in time? Pyroan is moving at Mach 37 currently. He is going to get out for free. Danny Cupati going to get poked out. Keen just looking for something, but not able to find anything. And it looks like they're going to get out for free. And this
they really
gold
did
is
them
even
dirty.
again. It's even again.
Yeah, I mean, this is what you want to see. When you see competitive League of Legends, you don't want to see stomps. You want to see games that are close like this. You want to see teams giving it their all to advance in the UCL here. And that's what we're seeing out of both of these teams. Lockstep right now, Dragon advantage, a little bit of a map advantage going over to ONECHANCE. However, Risen ready to fight back. They're poised to fight back. Items are coming online. The Rod of Ages, the Essence Reaver again. Keen about ready to finish an item as well. Oh, God.
Putting out so much damage on the Baboom, and that is going to be a kill.
Ooh.
Pyroan able to catch out their mid laner there, and that is pretty bad news. And Faraz may be caught out as well. Oh, never mind. Pyroan said, no, I'm going to run over at you. Lord.
Yeah, so, I mean, Kane has most of their kills at this point in the game. He has 6 of their 8, so almost all their gold lead is just situated on that Kane. However, is that a good thing? Kane, again, we've mentioned it several times. Blue Kane does fall off. He does have the Dark Harvest. He has 7 stacks. He's right on pace with what you want to have a good Dark Harvest game. But as Risen has the ability to build more defensive items and the ability to, you know, contest what they're doing with that Kane, does that tip the game in their favor?
That's the real question. Who on their team is going to be building these defensive items? Obviously, you can have a Seeker's Arm Guard going into a Zanya's on this TF, but you can't really build defensively as a Sona. That's going to be the one target for Pyroan for this entire game.
Yeah, I'm thinking, you know, Trundle gets naturally tanky. You know, Gangplank becomes that, like, sort of core bruiser. But yeah, and then Twisted Fate gets the Zonias generally. But you're right, the ADC and the support as we do have a fight breaking out.
Boom, going to get the stun off the Faraz. Here comes the bullet time. Not going to be enough. A triple Bard ultimate. And they're going to look to turn this out. Pyroan putting out damage onto Jim Cantorian. Monster Mash is just trying to survive at this point. He's going to fall to Keen. But Boom is so low. Pyroan all by himself in the back line. Going to try and get away from this Gangplank, but he probably... Okay, never mind. He's moving at a million miles an hour. So...
Obviously, you haven't seen post 10.8 Blue Kane.
That is a spicy meatball right there.
Yeah. Blue Kane is something else right now. He's He's a fast boy. He goes where he pleases. He's like Mundo, except for real.
Yeah, exactly, except for real. I like that. Oh, man, these fights are just so, like, they're completely even. It's like a stalemate in chess right now. This is, you're literally just moving your kings next to each other right now.
Absolutely, and I mean, with this being the UCL, if this is week 1 of what they're offering in playoffs, I'm trying to think of, like, imagine like the finals or something. If obviously both these teams want to make it, we're rooting for both of these teams right now. So I mean, if this is the kind of content, the quality that we're getting, that's what we want to see out of these competitive sets. Again,
Absolutely.
we want to see a stomp. This is great. I'm having a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm enjoying myself too. And I hope Twitch chat is joining me here. We do have Sork Shoes Kane. Good call out from the chat. Sork Shoes Kane is online. It is a real thing that is happening. Because you have to know, his passive, when he comes out of Shadow, when he comes out of where you don't have vision of him, he does bonus magic damage on all of his abilities and auto attacks. So it is a real thing that is occurring in our game right now. It's to counteract them building armor against him.
I kind of love it. I think that's the kind of like 200 IQ thing that I love to see in League of Legends.
Look at the damage! Here comes Barlow! Barlow going to fall! Wavesix just wailing on the backline. Pyro in the meantime, 1v3! Able to pick up a kill as well. Oshawott slaying the enemy team. Here comes the slow on to Jim Cantori. They are not going to be able to get away. Jim Cantori is like, oh god, why do you do this to me? And Kane able to throw the ace out. And here comes the Baron for one chance. Wow, this Kane is absolutely performing out of his mind this game.
Is this the same person that played a Mumu?
This is the same person that played a Mumu. That is a fair point to make, sir. That is a very fair point to make. This is the same person we saw in Game 1 on the Amumu. That is 100% accurate.
I think, like, for our next team fights, we can just start screaming the word Pyro. Like, either way, that's what's... You know, you don't even have to play...
That's what's happening in these fights.
As soon as there's an engage, just be like, Pyro! Pyro! Brr, brr. And that's all we have to worry about. Looks like Risen is not willing to give up this dragon, though, on a more serious note. I mean, again, most of their lead is still in that Kane. I think the scoreboard looks a little more lopsided.
Pyro in again on the Barlow. Going to drop the ultimate. That's going to be dead gangplank. He's going again on the Jim Cantori. This damage is insane. In the meantime, Wavesix just wailing on the backline. Here comes Monster Mash trying to land a stun here. Is going to get it on the Baboom. And that is a dead TF. Faraz still chasing out this kill. Not going to be able to find it as they look to take this dragon and shove out the waves.
Pyroin! Pyroin!
Pyroin!
What in the world is Blue Kane? What? I don't...
This is wild.
He just ran in 5v1! He didn't even care!
Wild.
He just went straight into the pit right onto Barlow. And he's so fast, there's no way to keep away from him. Like, I said he falls off, but does he? I mean, we're at like a 2-item point in the game for a lot of these characters, or about to hit 2 items. We're up 3 Drakes and 6 towers for one chance here. The door is starting to close on Risen Esports if they want to get back into this, down by almost 8,000 gold.
12
or more than 8,000 gold
by
now.
the way. 12.
Damn, that's going to pop every time he comes out of his ult, and it just... Yikes.
This is wild.
They're showing things done with this character that I didn't even know could be done with this character.
This is an absolute showing of how to play Kane 101. Those of you that are in lower ranks, take notes. This is the Pyro.
No, don't say that, because what's going to happen is in my solo queue games, I'm just going to have a Kane that has like one long sword and goes in 5v1 and dies, and then says team with a question mark after it.
Team diff.
Oh, are they going to get him?
Oh, the flash coming out from Danny Cutebody as here comes Jim Cantori. He's going to fall. Oh my goodness, the flash. And the Maokai in the backline with a 4-man bramble smash. Here comes Oshawott. Oshawott wailing on the enemy team. Here comes Pyro and getting the kill onto Keen. And this might be GG here at the 23-minute mark as they try to chase down Barlow as well. Faraz throwing his TP out. Here comes the kill as Barlow is going to eventually fall. There he goes. And they are shoving in this top lane inhibitor.
I have almost no words. Like, wow. I mean, the way that Pyroin is playing, and really huge, amazing props to Wavesix, you know, playing weak side this whole series, waiting for his chance, and getting that amazing 4-man little knockback there. As you saw, the game is not over quite yet, but you have to feel like that door is functionally slammed shut. I mean, if they're going to come back into this game, it has to be a massive mistake from ONECHANCE.
Absolutely. You got triple inhib, and you're on soul point for Ocean Soul, by the way, when you have a Maokai. This window of opportunity is rapidly closing for Risen Esports, and they have to find a way back into this game. What is their way back into this game, team?
Killing Pyroin when he dives in 5v1 before he kills 4 people. No, seriously. I think if they're going to get anything into the game, they need to find maybe like an ult out of Keen where Baboon can follow up with like the yellow card. You know, it's like you said, the Wombo with the Misfortune out of Danny Cute Body. Risen has the damage to melt most of their players, but they have to get the situation where they can melt those players. Kane is just thriving in that back line. Maybe save the Sona ult defensively. Maybe everybody jump in the Bard ult and pray. I mean,
Yeah.
but no, that's a meme. I do think that there is ways, but they're very limited and very precarious. And
Looks like they're gonna just go for the end here.
I mean, it's the move. I think that this is actually the right thing to do. This is it. The door is closing on Risen. Supers are pouring
Are
into the
they
field.
gonna look for the engage? Is this the last fight?
This is your season.
Your
is
season
it.
hanging on the whim of this team fight. Here comes the Bard ultimate, going to hit both carries, lining up the stun, going to stun up Danny Cupati. Here comes Pyro, and he is legendary on the Kane, but the Sona ulti coming out as well. Pyro may finally drop. No, he gets the ultimate out, and he survives, gets a double kill onto the Gangplank, and that is going to be the series. Risen Esports finally loses in the first round of playoffs to ONECHANCE.
Congratulations there to ONECHANCE, picking up the win, the victory, moving on in UCL to week 2 of the playoffs. Risen Esports, well-fought series. You guys did fantastic. I've been proud to cast you guys throughout this whole season. You know, just some things to clean up, obviously, as you guys move forward as a team and as individuals.
They're still the lower bracket. I was just notified of that. That is not the end of the esports season. There is still the lower bracket.
So they get
Risen
to continue.
Esports still fights on. But what a comeback. What a series by ONECHANCE here.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely amazing turnaround from Pyro in 2. If I had to give a player of the series, definitely him, the way that he played with his rotations on the Trundle in game 2 and the way that he just completely dominated and put away the game in game 3 on that Kane. The Amumu Shaco thing, not sure if ONECHANCE was just kind of memeing, maybe having a little bit of fun, knowing that they got a guaranteed game 2. But I mean, good play across the board. Just did not expect to see such an explosive Kane in the last game. So I just wanted to wish good luck to Risen in the lower bracket. We will continue to follow your journey. And also good luck to ONECHANCE continuing in the upper bracket. I would love to see these two teams meet again. I would almost think that was a spicy series. If that's the finals, I'm here for it. We're all about it, right?
Absolutely. And on behalf of Risen Esports and on behalf of myself, Tame, and our producer, Cabby, in the background, we thank you all for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to tune in as we move forward through the rest of this playoffs. And I hope you all have a swell rest of your evening.